I am a big fan of both Unreal Engine and Counter-Strike, and 2 days ago I decided to remake Mirage map inside of Unreal. So today we will go over the main steps that I took to recreate this iconic map, and I will show you the entire pipeline and all tools you need to create your own environments. The first stage of creating any environment is gathering references. For this I use the app named PureRef. I found several screenshots of Mirage from different angles and also downloaded a map which will help me maintain the correct distances between objects. Now we can start the blockout of our scene. Blockout, also known as grayboxing, is the process of creating a basic version of a game level using only simple 3D shapes. In the content browser I'm going to search for a skeletal mesh and add this mannequin, so I will have human height as a reference while building the scene. Now I can fill it with cubes to outline the environment. When I just started working as a 3D artist, skipping grayboxing was probably the biggest mistake I made, because it helps you so much to ensure that the level design works properly without wasting too much time, and any necessary adjustments can be made before committing to more complex assets. Exactly after an hour of work the blockout is finally ready. Now let's replace these ugly gray boxes with high quality assets and textures. But before you do that, I strongly recommend you to go to project settings, then search for texture streaming and turn it off. By doing this you will solve one of the most annoying viewport problems, when some of materials in your level suddenly become ugly and blurry. This happens because Unreal is trying to save your VRAM. However, in my experience, it doesn't actually give you a significant boost of performance, but creates a lot of annoying situations when you add a new asset to your scene and waste your time trying to understand if the problem is in the textures themselves or in the way you see them in viewport. Once you change the settings, we can start building the environment. I downloaded a few asset packs from Fab, which is basically a new version of Epic Games Marketplace, and it also has assets from Sketchfab. To be honest, it works way better, because previously you needed to restart your project every time you add anything from the launcher, and now all of your downloads will instantly appear in the content browser. So thank you Epic Games, you saved me a lot of time. One of the most important tips while building your scenes is avoid being repetitive. Try to find a bunch of similar assets that look a bit different and rotate them if you use same objects multiple times. You should also use a lot of decals, because some of them can completely change the way your assets look and give your scene much more variety. Also, when creating environments, it's important to make sure all your objects match in color, so they look organically in one scene. Usually I just go to material instance and adjust hue, saturation and brightness. As you can see, I just added this asset from Quixel Bridge, and it looks kinda different from the other objects in my scene, so I had to tweak some settings to make it match the environment. Next I'm also gonna use foliage mode to put some small assets on the floor and get some blueprints to add life to the scene. And when it's ready, we can finally start working on the lights. The lighting setup that I used is pretty basic. I used directional light as a sun and added HDRI. One thing I strongly recommend you to do is to set the mobility of all lights to movable, so we will get nice dynamic shadows from objects. And also don't forget that our HDRI backdrop includes skylight, which is so important when you use Lumen, so don't forget to find it in components and set it up. The next step is fog. I will make it volumetric and tweak settings until I achieve the look I want.